And so some form of life is producing these as a communication. I think it's a ramp up. Sort of like, I was talking about at the very beginning, I was doing the Mayan symbols. I'm sculpting them, and it's like, I'm getting all these messages. Well, crop circles are a great way for an interaction of extraterrestrials. Very ethical. Because nobody has to look. There's nobody hurt. The crops actually grow better next season. There's nothing damaged. It's very, very soft touch.
Peaceful geometry.
Yeah, and what happens when people see them is they get an impression from it. Whatever the impression, it's talking to their intuition.
Yes.
Yes.
So I didn't understand in the beginning when, with the words next to the timelines, I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Were those words put in there from patterns that people have seen from history, or were those words inscripted on the rock?
From what we've seen in history.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happens once this calendar is finished? I imagine that's the 20-day cycle, and then when that's all done, then what?
Well, what happens, the reason the calendar ends is because more and more happens in every moment than ever before. Faster and faster and faster, more and more happening until finally, absolutely everything which is infinitely possible all happens at the same time. Which is the truth in the first place. It's just that our consciousness hasn't caught up to that yet. That's what this evolution is about. So once we get to that point, there is not one single limit of time and space whatsoever. End of Mayan calendar. End of calendars. And open to your own personal creation of whatever it is that you wish to experience with no limit whatsoever. Or on anybody else either.
Is that what Fred Braden talks about, zero point?
I'm not sure if that's exactly the same term. 0 point on he's talking about the electromagnetic shutdown of our system, which means the end of your mind. The mind is electromagnetic. It's not your brain. It's a field, more like your aura, is your mind. It's all the mental pictures that you've got. All those are electromagnetic. When the electromagnetic field falls, the mind is gone. So that's a step or stage toward having no limit, because all the limits only exist in your mind. So, did that answer that question? Okay. Yes. A couple of more questions, then we'll go have cookies and go to bed. Yes.
Did the Mayas receive information of what was the creation purpose? Did they know what was the creation purpose, or they just were given the calendar?
The Maya that I have met with in the current living Maya, they didn't have didn't present a clear idea of that. They knew that they have the pattern and that the prophecies are important. They knew that they could predict what was going to happen. And that seems to be where their consciousness right now is mostly focused, is on providing the warnings of what might happen, or what is going to happen in the future. It seems to be most of their focus.
Now another question: did they have any type of connection with another civilizations in their time?
I believe so.
Like
looking at the inscriptions, yeah, I think so. In fact, it looks like the Mayan civilization came from the Olmecs, and the Olmecs more than likely came from Atlantis. So, along with the people, the Celts and the Egyptians, and the Phoenicians. And there's Phoenician ships that are crashed off of the Florida coast. I mean, I've met people who have dived on them and brought up urns off the Florida coast. So yeah, there was lots of enterprise.
This is a general question for everybody. I would mention it to you if anybody knows about super ionized water?
Oh yeah, the angel water. Angel water from Drungalo Melchizedek, the Turkish water. I don't know. Has anybody tried that stuff? A few years ago, I had an opportunity to try some.
What'd you think?
I thought it was water.
Is it from a special well or
No, it's a process, supposedly.
tuning for it?
Supposedly, it's a process, yeah, in Turkey that they were producing ionized water. But there's water everywhere, all over the place now. You know. Okay, two more questions, and that's it. So one back here.
I wanted to ask you to speak about what you did. Previous talk about how all the ships we're going through right now are not really going to affect people that are really close to the land, indigenous Mayas, for example.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, these changes that are going to come, the faster and faster things change. The bigger and bigger the system is you have, the slower it changes. The bigger the system, the slower it changes. Like an aircraft carrier, for instance, like the Enterprise, it takes 3 miles for it to turn around. A speedboat, and you're back the other way. So you look at our society, the momentum, the inertia that we've built up, going in this one direction and gobbling and mashing things as we go. We have really got a lot going on, and we're way up here above anything natural. And when the support finally comes out, boom, this is going to be like Wile E. Coyote over the Grand Canyon. Just it's a long ways down. On the other hand, the poor Maya, the very poor Maya, that don't have a nickel to rub together. These guys are going to be absolutely fine. Nothing is going to change in their world. They're going to be gathering coconuts, and they're going to be, eating lobsters, and same as they're doing all the way. So, all of a sudden, these people who were trying to help by giving them refrigerators and electric mixers and all of a sudden they're going to be just fine. And there's people here in the United States going to be horribly upset that there's no Dream Whip at the store. So, yeah, not a lot to worry